Welcome back, sports fans. Here we go. We are going to do a updated pole vault tutorial. Pole vault's been out a while now. A lot of the gremlins and some of the errors that were coming up have been updated. And with Heatwave Games, we have got the pole vault in here, so it means we can do multiple attempts. Don't need to spend any coins to be able to do that. So let's go into pole vault. We're going to discuss the bits now. There are, I've just got to try and remember in the time frame. We'll go down to there and we'll do that so we know we're going to get a PB if we do two. Yeah, we've got the tap and hold, then we've got the big circle. Sorry, the tap and hold, then the smaller circle. So tap and hold, really important for the high ones. Here we press when it's actually in the orange, and there you go, we got the perfect. This I should have gone up to the highest, or no, maybe not. So what can you see there is that was quite quick, and we'll break it down. So we've got the tap and hold. We have to get that near enough perfect, otherwise it's really going to impact the height we can jump. The second tap and hold, you don't actually hit it when it gets into the final section. You actually have to hit it when it's in the previous section. So there's the tap and hold. Ready? Now. No, that was a tiny bit too early. And what it does is it does that bad run up, and you think, why is it doing the bad run up? Because it knows that after the tap and hold in that first press, you just can't beat that that height. And that's why you get that. That's not an error. It's not a bug. It is because the game understands you are not going to achieve the height you want. So tap and hold, not the best. Press it now. There you go. And then I always think you have to press these a bit earlier. When you get into the blue one, essentially the white line is really thick, so you do have to sort of try and figure out when you need to press it, which is going to come from practice. And while Heatwave's on, if you've got the pass, it gives you unlimited attempts. It's a really good time to sort of get your practice in. So we'll do it again. And this time I will concentrate on the next three. So where we just covered those. So again, we're going to do that because we want to be able to hopefully get a PV by doing all of these. So that's bad tap and hold. Very bad. Now, see? And that, now, if you look at that, why did I get a good? Because I released too early. That thick white line, you have to do it. Obviously, you want to try and get it in the centre to line up with the other bit. It's hard to do that. You're actually a tiny bit better pressing it late. Let's just do it again. Okay. So, tap and hold. That's a bad tap and hold. That's my ready now. See how we had to go a little bit further in than normal. If you jump in these sort of heights, you really need to get. I think you can get one good. While you're doing it, but that blue tap and hold is, let's just hold that, press that now, and that was a good one. Okay, so I always think you're better off delaying your tap by, it's quite hard to do, you're delaying by a millisecond, but you are slightly delaying what it is that you're doing. So again, let's just go into it. We're just going to concentrate on the blue circle. Let's just put it all the way down to here, so we can see. I'm obviously going to do these bits. See where I pressed that late, and I did that to show you can press it when it's gone past the edge of the circle. So again, we're just going to stay down at low levels because this first two bits then don't mean much. Ready? Now, that's nearly a perfect. It is hard to do this blue circle. I would say you're probably looking, let's just go for a PB as the last one. This needs to be all perfect. That's nowhere near good enough. We'll just do that. That blue circle is definitely the hardest piece as you go through. Mainly because the line is so thick, you essentially can't see through the line as it's there. So I would always say, if you're constantly getting good, just delay slightly when you're pressing. And actually start pressing when you're just inside the circle. So if we look at that white line, let's do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to press it when the white line is actually inside the circle. And then you're holding it longer than you think. A lot of people release on the blue circle too early. Well, actually, it's got to go all the way to the end. And they're doing it based on the white circle. The first bit has got across. But actually everything over, the first bit of the white line's there, but that obviously means it is not a perfect attempt. Let's just go for a record. So, tap and hold, not the worst. Now, there you go. See how it's inside? And I didn't hold that long enough. Now, the last two circles, again, you have to press earlier than you think. This is I don't know if it's it's not a bug. But it's where pole vault differs, is you're pressing earlier than you actually need to press. Especially on the taps on the circles. That's going to get me a fault. There you go. We'll do it at the lowest just so I can show you. Alright, we've got that bit. Pressing early here. And later there. And look, it's still got a good... But essentially, you're predicting when the middle of that white line is on the other lines. And as I said, that is hard to do. It is not the easiest event. But utilise Heatwave Games to be just sat here doing jump after jump after jump. So again, we're going to go for a record. Let's see how we do. That's a good one. That one just got away from us there. But we got a new record. So, it's all about maximising that blue space. You could see though I was a tiny bit late pressing. But that's not a problem. We don't mind pressing a tiny bit late. So again, that's a good one. Good one. That's going to be perfect. Oh no! Oh, if I'd have got that second, so I've let myself down there on that second attempt. Again, we're just going to try it again, but remember what we're doing on the blue circle. Ready? We've got that. That's okay. I pressed that too early. But we've got a PB. That was good. But remember, we're just delaying slightly. If you can't see the actual circle based on where you've pressed, so let me show you. Then it will mean you're pressing too early. And again, we'll just go down to really low heights. Low heights, not high heights. Okay. Now, a lot of people do this. Ready? We're going to do this as though it is the common factor. And they press early like that. And you can see how much worse it makes you jump. It really does. The bad is really, really quick and easy. Okay, so we're going to do it again. And we're going to delay that press now. Again, we're doing lows so we don't get the bad run. Delay. And that one I took it probably a tiny bit too far in at the end. But the actual first press is exactly where you want it. You want it pretty much bang on the line. And to do that, we're waiting for the circle. So let's do it one more time. And we go bang. Now. And I released too early there, see? So it isn't easy. It isn't something you're going to get perfect every time. I'm sure there's some people out there who can get the perfects, 99% of the time. I will struggle on that. I'm in the same boat as everyone else. It isn't, it's not an easy event. The only thing we can do is repeatedly practice. But to do that, utilise Heatwave Games to be able to get into the event. So that's it. As I said, you've got the tap and hold to start with. You do need that perfect, especially going for the top ones. Otherwise, you will get bad run up. The second circle, we have 3 colours. We press as it is on just before it gets into the green zone. And that means it will step in the green zone. There is a delay from press to when it stops. The third one, the big blue circle, delay your press slightly. And again, Try not to press too early, the inside one, if you want to get a perfect. The final two tap and holds, similar to the second one, what we're doing is, again, we are waiting until it gets into just before it gets to green, and then we are pressing. Then there is a delay on that one as well, so you just have to adapt your style. Typically where most people are struggling is on that blue circle. There isn't exact science. You've just got to find how you get your timings as we go, as you go through. So that's it for today. As I said, it's not easy. You might get those really high attempts. I think people are misled because in something like high jump, it's really easy to sort of jump quite high, close to the limit. Pole vault, that's a lot harder. And even if you get all perfects, it still doesn't mean you will jump your really high bar if it is high, because it's all relative. So that's it. Like, share, subscribe. Questions into the comments. I will answer them as we go. We've got some other stuff we want to be able to record on. So that's it for today. So thank you very much, and I will see you on the next one.